Much love to you and yours. My live feed for Wednesday, for Wandering Wednesday, didn't quite turn out right. You couldn't hear it. There's so many facets to this, it's incredible. So I'm feeling dramatic. I'm feeling theatrical. I'm feeling like acting out. I'm feeling like showing my butt. Oh, but then that would be inappropriate, right? I feel like somebody's playing pin the tail on the donkey. But lucky. Right? Lucky I'm your laughter facilitator. So, with all the drama going on, I was thinking Thursday again about Wandering Wednesday. We are the opera. They say, again, I believe this was Shakespeare, that life is a stage, right? Life is a play, and we're mere actors on this stage of life. We all play our part. Good day, much love to you and yours, family. We all play our part. I was thinking this Thursday about Wandering Wednesday and how it didn't come out right with all these technical difficulties, you know, all these different facets and pieces that we have to put together. You know, this is Regina's rabbit hole, and we got different things, different dimensions going on, you know, and it depends on the intent and the level of integrity, the level of intellect and study, just where you are in life, on what part that we will catch to these different dimensions that we're doing here. That's why it's Regina's rabbit hole. Much love to you and yours. I'm so glad you could join me. Yeah. So I was thinking about this opera we got going on. You know, about all this string pulling and these characters, this singing and dancing. We're all playing our part. The music is a little ditty from some moron, right? Some character in a play. Why? Why does it have to be, this is a play on words, moron? We're like food, you are what you eat. And what we've been ingesting when it comes to image, it's like junk food. Very, very, very tasty, tempting, but full of a lot of stuff that's harmful. It's not. There's nothing in it that's nurturing to the body, but we want to eat it. Why? They're scientists, right? They go to school to study how taste influences us. Can you imagine? Going to school and studying how taste influences people's psyche, perception, right? So this people with these $1 billion franchises, right? Imagine making sure that that taste gets to its peak performance. Their ingredients are so I want to say articulate. They're so precise to play on your taste buds that send a signal to your brain to make you want to come back. Just like cigarettes, they study that to do that. It's consumerism, it's good practice, right? With your business, once you get to a certain level, you want your customers to come back. So part of that is kind of the trickery. Yeah, we want the taste and we want the product, right? But we don't care to know, and many times we didn't care to know that there were things in it that weren't beneficial to us, like the chemicals and stuff like that. But it tastes good, and it's snack food, and we can grab it really quick, and it's usually really cheap. Like our entertainment, like our foods. It's like TV dinner. So you are what you eat. And what I was looking at, right? I was looking at opera, and I was checking out this opera, as I was saying yesterday on Wandering Wednesday. Got all cut up and diced up on the internet there. Ooh, it's a little messy, but it's okay. We're okay. We cleaned it up. We're all spiffy now. I was checking out this play called The Magic Flute, and Mozart did it. I believe that one of the main characters, that's a woman, came from this other play called The Tempest, which I was checking out years ago. It has to do, the other one, the Tempest, the reason why I was looking at it is it had to do with the female energy and the males. There was element going on, you know what I'm saying? Male and female war, internal war. And a lot of that, when it comes to the arts, check out our arts compared to other people's arts, other cultures' arts. I was looking at John D. Paul and Shakespeare. Shakespeare having had to do with some of the writings of the Bible, and supposedly looking at government spies and people that are cohorts. Shakespeare and John D. Paul. Gotta check out the history. I believe some people feel like they're one and the same. You know, just like when you look at people and certain characters in the Bible, you could see how they could be similar characters on a different timeline, or perhaps called different characters within different cultures. It reminds me like the telephone game, you know, our gods morph throughout different cultures. You know, Isis is something else in another culture. So I'm looking at our arts. I'm looking at how image has been controlled, and I'm looking at arts, how the Girls and Boys Club and stuff when I was little used to be very prominent in our culture. You know, you could send your children to these different programs that they had in the inner city, you know. So while mom was working or resting at home, your child wasn't just sitting around absorbing the television. You could go and pay a few dollars, or even get a scholarship. And the community would kind of raise that child within these programs. We had double dutch, we had step teams, we had all kinds of stuff. We had times when I saw the parents and the elders make a space for us to grow. And in turn, it appeared to me as a child it was a space for the grown-ups to grow, because they were in charge of us, and I saw my mother amongst them, some of the women that were doing double dutch and different things. I saw the difference in our imagination, how a stick, a simple stick, I wanted to grab a stick. This stick, you know, life is a play, and we're just playing our part. We're mere actors, we're characters, right? Bam. This stick could be, we could turn into Harry Potter before Harry Potter was Harry Potter. We was like, bam. This stick is a gun. Da, 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 da. But I didn't want to play with them because they was killing everything. I wanted to make stuff. Kapow! So it was like Walt Disney, like Fantasia. This stick was like what? This stick could become a fort. This stick could become a made you imagine some stuff. It all started with a thought. And it reminds me of our symbolism, our ancient symbolism, of how we embedded messages. And that got me thinking about our arts, right? How they've been depleted and how our imagination, don't be daydreaming, get to work. Work, 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 work. You're not going to get anything with your head in the clouds. Imagine that, or don't imagine that. Knowing about universal law and corresponding frequencies and stuff, nah, don't imagine that. Only imagine it as a means to walk around the hole. You see the hole. Walk around the hole. Our ancestors and our insights are our ancestors, our internal messages from our ancestral line that wakes up in the blood, that we can call on from the elements that are us that are the elements, us, our ancient us, our us that is not the flesh, our us that is not corrupted by the trials of life, by the disease of, I want to say fuckery, like chicory. And only to bring attention to our kundalini energy and how it's being very manipulated, okay? Our sexual energy, our desires, even this carrot. Everything about us is about conception, even the thing that we think. Now, don't you talk about it. Don't talk about that. We're saturated in it, and sex, and innuendos of sex. In our cartoons, they have embedded messages, sexual, right? You can see all kinds of stuff in Walt Disney cartoons. I thought I was being the best mom. Oh my goodness, how that hurt and really angered me. I particularly, because I was a Sunday school teacher now, just reaching this rabbit hole. I wanted to be a good girl because I was a bad girl. I was playing my part. So society said that a good girl looked a certain particular kind of way. So my husband became a minister and I became a good girl. I was a Sunday school teacher after years in the church. Different churches, looking for a home, looking for a way to belong. We all play our part. How can I serve? How can I serve you? They said, put the money in the basket. I said, how can I serve you? How can I give of myself to you? They said, put the money in the basket. So how can I give of myself to you? They said, we have this pre-selected curriculum that we want you to follow. And if you don't follow the pre-selected curriculum of the things that ladies do, that we offer for the ladies here within our sanctum, you can't jump up in this rabbit hole, kid. Okay? But I said, I'm not my interpretation of you. I'm not what you want me to be. I'm who Jah, who our creator, who Yah, who fire, water, earth, air, and speak, ether, our ancestors made me to be. I don't know what that thing is. I mean, I know what it is, the pre-selected thing, but that's not. Okay, so now I'm a renegade, right? Now I'm a character in a play. I'm the black sheep. I'm the goat. They shut it down wherever I go. I'm so smart. I'm watching all these programs and stuff get shut down around me. All these art programs, music. Some of the sports stuff stayed. Some of it. The pools getting shut down, swimming. So contact with water and laughing and giggling and being with each other, and that frequency going through the water, us looking at each other, splashing around, and ooh, the way that feels. Remember that? But then we know what it was. We're so disconnected from the earth, from ourselves, from our ancestral voice, from the hairs that stand up on the back of our neck when we know that something is different. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's bad, but it's there. Like the presence of the Creator, always and forever with us. So we're in this matrix, right, where people pretend to be one thing, but they're another. And we got this image thing going on. And there's been an attack on our creative energies, our Kundalini energy, right? And that brings us to the male and female aspect. That's where we always are, because we were one. There's not just a dimension of black and white, and then the other arrays of colors, okay? Of cultures. Culture, petri dish culture. Male and female energy and messing with it, tampering it, has been policy on this planet since before we started having plays. Life was life. Things were just what they were. And then we started to record them. We went from the Iconian language, which is a light code frequency. It starts with a thought. From what we were looking at, what we were observing, we always took into account the world around us like babies do. We're like for lack of better words, we're fractals, like Russian dolls. Pictures within pictures within pictures, symbols within symbols within symbols. That straight line, it all starts with a thought. Embedding. And so messing with that female and male energy brings us to the mirage. Brings us to how I saw people were in charge of resources that we desperately wanted and didn't know how much we needed them. Some people talked about how much they were needed, but we didn't realize it because at the same time there was music like push, push in the bush. There was music that was naughty. And because we couldn't talk about sex, but sex was all around us, it seemed like we gravitated towards things like Mad Magazine and the dirty music, the music with the naughty lyrics. So you could dance to it and you could hear it, but you weren't supposed to talk about it, and you weren't supposed to display. You weren't supposed to be really free with your sexuality. That was a no-no. All that stuff was being marketed and capitalized on in various different ways on the other side, and that's part of the acting that we're made to do. We are what we've been ingesting, the media and the medium that we've been given. This is our conception, how we interact and pull things to us by way of the law of correspondence, right? Law of attraction, cohesiveness, right? What we are thinking. Yeah, what we are thinking, what we have been programmed to think, and this is what we're going to go into. Checkmate. Checkmate. We are what we eat. There's people who are living like kings and queens, who play games with pawns, with people, right? They play games on a whole nother level that we're not aware of. It's an opera. We're just playing our parts. They know about the ancient sciences like human design and astrology, synchronicity, symbolism, cultism. And we call them various different names, these families. We're afraid. We're afraid of these people with money and know-how. It's not the money. It's somehow we know they know how to move things, but what is it that they're doing? What is it that they're controlling? What is it that we're not seeing? Remember those pictures of George Washington Carver? No. Remember those pictures of Lincoln and George Washington crossing Delaware, and different pictures they have with the Moors in the background. We're in the background in the shadows because we know things, right? Realizing that this is just a sleight of hand, a play. Some people will put a front man out there. What is Trump right now? Just came to my mind. Checkmate, what we're ingesting. How words sound. The theater, right? The theatrics. Checkmate. 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 Check. Mate. Check your mate. Check. Checkmate. A queen. The way they've been depicting male and females. The way they've been depicting melanated folks. This is the thing. So I'm watching this play. The Magic Flute. And I see how this character, the woman, has a corresponding frequency with the Tempest. And I'm thinking about the embedding of culture and how important that is. How important the arts are and the way that we look at ourselves. We wanted desperately to see ourselves in the media. We had Queen, we had Alex Haley's Roots, we had The Color Purple. We were so pleased to see ourselves, right? That's our tale. We wanted desperately to see ourselves in the media. Within the culture that we live in, it was important, right? That's a part of what we do, the theater. And the Egyptian culture, you can see how important it was for us to record those glyphs. The dancing and stuff even that was recorded on the walls. The things that we did. The acupuncture. They say that we started to forget ourselves, that we started to forget things. I look at the history of various different cultures in their depiction of ancient historical information, just, you know. Now take in mind, I'm not saying that I know everything or trying to be grandiose, what I'm doing, because, you know, because the more we know we don't know anything. And I realize the more I get to the level of knowing, the more is expected of me. I may not know everything because I dip into so much, so many different categories. So that's why I say I'm the master of none. And I look into everything. I also realize I said that a little bit different. It was important for me to know as an adult not to take myself so seriously, because we are all just actors, characters. I saw the contradiction. I saw the manipulation. I saw people could not possibly keep up with the images that they were portraying. Like people with an authority. Like even my parents, you know. We wanted desperately to see ourselves in the media. I was thinking, I was wondering. This is Thinking Thursday about Wandering Wednesday that got cut short. I had to share this information. How what we see And what we ingest, we are what we eat. It's all the same. It's a fractal on different levels of comprehension, okay? That's determined by your internal clock, by your connection with the elements, with what you are. If you can't even appreciate what you have, why would I give you more? You are what you eat. We can only penetrate and reach the level of that we realize that we are and appreciate. And it's in that place that our ancestors and the elements and the Creator speaks to us, through that place of humility, right? Where we're just learning. So I was thinking about our image and how it's so important, and how these people, they see themselves as so much better than us, as larger than life, right? For some reason they feel like they have the right because they have these knowledges tucked away. Lucky it's a time of enlightenment, a time of a new beginning, where we're allowed to see and gain informations and have access to things are shifting. And that means that the consciousness grid is shifting. Image is so important, and what we're thinking about is so important because it changes the consciousness field of how we're thinking. These people play games, right? They shift consciousness in a way. How image is important, where I want to put this thought later, but I don't want to forget it. They play games like, let's decide how many people we can get to eat larger detergent packs. How many kids can we get to eat soap packs? How many kids can we get to do ice bucket challenge? And people, kids, I'm going to say kids because we act like animals and not thinking for ourselves. How many people can we get to do something that's going to harm themselves for us, so that we can be entertained, so that we can see how powerful we are, us wizards, how we change the energy around the earth. Let's see our force, our might, our power. They're on a whole nother level when it comes to playing video games. Just like our technology, once we get it, it's a toy. It's so past tense. But when they're using it, it's a weapon. It's used to manipulate, guide the forces of consciousness. That's what our world is. That's what they didn't want us to know. And that's what they've been guiding, swaying, and manipulating, right? One second. It's so funny. I have they left. Little birdies around me. Okay. Sometimes it gets kind of weird. So I'm watching this play. I'm thinking about kings and queens. I'm thinking about energy in the conscious grid. And I'm thinking about how imperative it is for us to share what it is that we know in order to raise the consciousness. That's talk therapy is just very powerful. Okay, when we share what we know, we are changing the conscious collective, and that is very important. That's why indoctrination was very important. That's why it was so important for you to only think within this segment or this realm of thought. Obviously, so it could be controlled, so it can be managed. So then it was always, you know, about where Bobby Hemmett was. What don't they want us to see? I'm gonna look. They said, don't look. You better at least look. But look with a light in your heart. Look for the purposes of seeing for your brothers and sisters. Look for the purposes of being the medicine, the snake that eats itself. If it's in me and it don't belong there, pluck it out. I'm not exempt from that, because that's really what I want. It's to meet a corresponding frequency and not to be corrupted by the things that I'm seeing always here, but by the things that my Creator brings me from here. We want to bring this out. This is what we were supposed to be sharing with one another. Sharing this, bringing it out. But instead we get this. We get penetrated. 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 By phalluses. By these kings and queens, these so-called kings and queens. But they're so common. They haven't done anything we really need that's beneficial. What they're doing is like equivalent to some alien getting off, like this addicted to sex, addicted to the suffering, addicted to, it's like I come in peace, kind of metaphorically, addicted to our energy that comes from our essence, from the pain, from the suffering, from having us be in our place, because it's afraid, like Dr. Francis Scott Wessling was saying, and that's not our fault. I was saying that men are in a position of female submission because of economy. Economy is created out of new energy, new thought, new stuff. But a lot of things are not included, not accepted within our culture because it's being controlled. And that's why I'm talking about the opera, because it's an ancient art. And you see how we still have it today. The music. Look at what I've been saying about music and sound. How it influences the body, how our environment influences the body, how we accept ourselves, how we look at ourselves influences us. How we get cultural messages through our arts. What have we been getting through our arts? We got, like I said, Queen, Roots, The Color Purple. We got ourselves The Butler, very downtrodden. We wanted so much to see ourselves, just show us anything, any image. We got the Black Panther. That's a little ditty for Jack and Diane, for our male and female psyche, for our Kundalini energy being together. It said in ancient time that we were one, and then we split, and then we split again. So we split from male and female, and then forgot what it was like to be together, our togetherness. And then we split again into different colors, always running away from ourselves instead of doing the work, pulling it in to push it out. And then once mama turns it, it's checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. There's a difference between a queen and a pawn, just like a king and a queen. And I'm not talking about think how things are backwards. I'm going to give an interpretation that I was given. A queen is irreplaceable. She has irreplaceable value. Like we were told, the woman, the womb space, shares the information with the culture. Through her creative energy, she finds ways, just like I am doing now as a woman within this culture. As a woman. And then as a woman. And then as a woman within the culture on some other ish. Okay? But I can only do that. I can only share what's real if I'm left alone and allowed to pull out from the space that my Creator gave me. Who is my Creator? Is it your interpretation of me? Because that's a pawn, baby. You've seen that so many times, and that's boring. Or is it my interpretation of me, where I'm woman enough, womb enough to pull from the spaces outside of what you give me, because it's corrupt and it's flawed and it's sick. We've been sick for a very long time, and we haven't even known we're sick because we have penises embedded in our Disney cartoons. I wanted so much to be the good housewife and the good saint and Sunday school teacher that I sat my little girls, my children, in front of those Disney movies, totally oblivious of what they were doing to our psyche, because I trusted them. I entrusted in them. And God we trust. I wasn't aware that I had given them power and authority over not only me, but my children, and I had deemed them God. I had a vision once that I died. I wrote a poem about it, and I was in heaven, and I was talking to God. I was so freaking angry at all the stuff and the suffering that I've freaking been through as a woman, and I'm like, what in the world was that? My husband said I'm covered. He got me. My husband said he got me. What are you talking about? I gotta pay for some stuff. That I didn't learn my lesson, that I didn't grow. What are you talking about? That's just the way this freaking planet is. I was born a woman. He said you could have been born black. I was born black. Yeah, I know. See, God has a funny sense of humor. Our Creator. I use different words to express my deep love and gratitude for these messages. Because everything was such a lie. It didn't feed me. It was so empty. Even from a child, like looking at people's eyes. Oh my gosh. Oof. They didn't know what the freak they was talking about. But you better shut your mouth and stay in a child's place. I was molested, and I was analyzing the world around me before I was allowed to. I said, did those pictures on the wall, the guy that my parents left me with was a babysitter. I woke up and he was doing something he shouldn't have been doing with his mouth. And I was so embarrassed and shocked, I couldn't get up. And then I was so embarrassed and shocked that I couldn't get up. I was conflicted. And he said, I know you're awake. I said, oh no. I was like 6, 7. My little brain said, what do I do? Do I get up and confront this? Oh. Or do I lay here and hope he goes away? And either choice was messed up. And that's the world that I was in. And that was after being molested by my dad and having to be accepted by him, and my mother, and the way that she was raised and the things that had happened to her, because she was a child, an incest survivor also. This is the world that I was in. Drama, opera, we're all characters. Many people have been molested. What? Talking to God. Do you see? I had the right to rock and roll. I had the right. But you gave him your soul. But you gave him your soul. You didn't look to me. You looked at the lie. You didn't listen to those voices inside. How many times have I been back here? We have lessons to learn. Your husband will not cover you. As a matter of fact, he has been placed into a position of female submission. You are in a war zone. Yep. It is your sacred duty as a womb space, as a queen, to find your personal connection with Jah, with the Creator, or whatever you want to call him. And it has nothing to do with your husband's interpretation of the Creator. You better find him. That's what I found. Since I was a little girl, that's what I found when I grew up. And I went through the whole circuit. Went through the whole feud plays. I played a few different characters already. I certainly hope that this is not cutting off my feed like it did yesterday. Please let me know that it's been consistent and I haven't been getting cut off constantly. That was just horrible yesterday. I hope that you're hearing me. I'm going to trust that the Creator is taking care of the situation, because He really wanted us to hear this. Okay? So from this dream space, I was getting this message, and I wrote a poem about it, talking to God. And I've gotten many lessons from that, about this pawn, this queen, right? The difference between a queen and a pawn. A queen has irreplaceable value. Thank you, love. And a pawn is expendable, has expendable virtue. They say, stand for something or you're going to stand for anything. A pawn has expendable virtue. She's down for anything. She's down for it all. A queen is going to stand up for you morally. She has a relationship with the Creator. She's going to say, wait a minute. Inside, I can't roll with you there. I cannot roll with you there, my love. We just can't go. I can't go there. She's the woman that has the voice that's the reflection that we need to build and grow and change, push that stuff out. In the same way that the man wants his voice to be heard, so that she can push that stuff out. What they keep is what they keep together and agree on. And we do this as a society, as a community, this male and female energy. We've been pushing too much of the femme energy out, where she has the connection with Earth. And what have we been listening to? Men in dresses, men who have secrets, men kissing men. Cool, you want to do all that, fine, but you still need to make space for the real stuff. Because now all you got is what was in the tube. It's crap. What you got in the tube, it's crappy. And that's what my responsibility is, to bring it, what my Creator, what my essence is, not your interpretation, but what the array that the Creator made me on my birthday, where I was born, on the time, the essences that came from that light code frequency into my mother's womb and connected with my father's seed, because he desired my mom's womb space. And they sparked off in the dark or the light or wherever they were. And the dark, because the womb space is dark, so yeah, it was dark. It was dark in that rabbit hole. And voila, there you go, you were born. And so, yeah, that's magic and beautiful in itself, right? The value of ourselves. Now, we aren't seeing the value of ourselves, weren't seeing the value of ourselves in the medium, in the media, in the mirror, and that part of culture which reflects itself. That part of the culture we show to the entire world, America. How many times have people told me they saw the color purple that belonged to other cultures? They're from India and from Africa, and yeah, they saw the color purple. That was an appropriate movie venture within their culture, whether they were garbed or not. They saw certain movies that were blockbusters that came from us, America, like a little steering wheel. So I was watching this opera, The Magic Flute, and I was looking at all the strings and the lighting. Oh my gosh, the different facets. Just like how one person can test the peak performance of a chip to make sure that you go back and get it, or a cigarette, or a soda. They even add baby fetuses into Pepsi to make sure that it tastes delicious. Because you want to come back and get it. I heard they were doing that with McDonald's too in the Golden Arches. The Bal Arches. Making a bad name for certain things, you know, always. It really sucks. Really sucks. Okay, so a queen is irreplaceable. She's bringing the message of the Creator from her womb space. Not just a one-dimensional womb space. Y'all can take that somewhere else. Pawns. Pawns because you can't see. Like when I dance. What do you see? What are you seeing? Are you seeing how there's orbs and different frames of light? How there's spaces in there when I get past myself and your interpretation of me, when I get into the flow, I can hear our connection, get that cohesiveness and pull in that sacred freaking energy. What we're missing out on, oh my goodness. Beautiful, sacred energy from our Creator. Fire, water, earth, air and ether, and it changes us. That's where we can get this life force energy we can heal ourselves with. It's sacred, not corrupt. It's not corrupt. So what are you seeing? Are you seeing the different dimensions that we are and what it means? We are a fractal. What are you looking at? Your mama is your mama. What? Is your little mama, your wife, your grandma, your baby girl. What? We are what we eat. There's a difference between a pawn and a queen who's irreplaceable. You are what you eat, and we have been ingesting different types of media. Sitting at a table, we got one sector sitting at a table, like we look at ants and pets and stuff like that. They're looking at us and they're playing games on a whole nother level. On a whole nother level. Like watching an opera, pulling strings and having characters and making them sing and think certain things and go through drama. Turmoil. The metaphor is deep. I had an apron that had, you know, the faces of drama, the happy face and the different faces, the mirror. I wanted so much to understand what I was seeing, because I couldn't believe that we were that messed up, that oblivious, that we don't know. Yo, I'm lying to myself. Yep, I'm doing it. And then can't admit it. You can't admit it. Why? You have a role to play. So I asked, what is black? What is black? They told us what is black. Alex Haley told us what is black. Anybody who wrote anything and was put on that big screen and we watched told us what it was to be black. When we sat there and we were looking for ourselves within the Bibles, within the preacher, within the churches, within institutions, within the masses. And I'm not saying that those institutions cannot be utilized. What I'm saying, I'm talking directly to those people who know they messed up and use those institutions not for the benefit of others. Shame on you. I'm not talking to the people who stand beside you and watch you do it and feel like their hands are tied, because that's the only venue and avenue they have to really help people, and they really want to help people. And there's so many freaking gatekeepers that are sick and corrupted and don't want to let go of the doggy bone that we were given, and it's not good for us. And at the end of the day, when the pawn and the queen, or the king and the queen, go into that box, because men have been placed into a position of female submission due to the suppression of creative energy. Our arts. There are many different arts, like our sciences and arts blend together now. What? Our arts are suppressed. We have a few people like Bobby McFerrin, and there are a few people that within our arts, when it comes to music and the different dimensions to music, that can see, allow themselves to see and disconnect and find themselves in a way that they bring us essence. That's why I like listening to jazz. And occasionally blues. But misery is so common amongst us. But how we display it can be beautiful. Like I said, it's like double dutch. You know, you're here and you're jumping in these ropes. Those girls were really good. I used to watch them. And they could do different stuff. Just throw a little thing in their bang. Bang. And they have the competitions. Wow. Wow. The things that people can come up with to do in between those ropes. I remember they said, guys don't jump rope. I thought, how stupid, because that's some serious stuff right there. Freaking double dutch. What? Let them boys jump them ropes because the metaphor sinks in. Ow! It sinks in like a fire. So I had to share it. It burns the information. It's Kundalini energy. It is supposed to be shared. It's supposed to be shared. Okay? You are what you eat. So these people are like larger than life, and they have this moolah, and they have this knowledge, and they've had all this time to get it together, to manipulate, to pull strings, and it's embedded within the culture, who they are, and how they play Mozart's last play, and see the occult symbolism and the messages within that play. But if you're too black with your dashiki and your afro or whatever it is that you flow with, much love to you, because it's beautiful. But if you're too much of that on the pole and you can't see that over there, you're not privy to it. Huh? Right. It's not for you. You can't have the good stuff, baby. Stay right there. Okay? Real people who are privy to real ancestral energies are able to float, because we are the all and we got information from the all. That's what we are. What you mean you can't go over there? If you are over there, if you created over there is just a freaking illusion. Give me that. So what we're doing to ourselves when we have a culture where things are lopsided is that we're making people sick. We're developing really bad expectations that people can't live up to. Just like I knew after a while that preacher or that teacher could not live up to the expectations that I had in my mind. And it messed with my little mind, because that was the definition of the expectation that I was given, that I was told that I could inflict you with. I was told that I could charge you with knowing your stuff, that you knew what the freak it was you were talking about, because other people in our society co-sign that. We have designated spots for people who know stuff. What? Do you know stuff? Are you getting paid to know stuff? Do you have a PhD to know stuff? You paid in, you co-signed. You better hold the line. Because there's lots of other little yous out there paying their school fees and listening to professors so they can get put on, be a part of the system and hold the line. And they believe in you. They've had their social indoctrination. That is an industry. Every doctorates, masters, and associates is being held down by us. So where is the new information? if we're not allowed to pull from that essence of flow, from our creative spaces, where a lot of these sciences advance from the creative space first, and then they say, well, what was that? And make math out of it, and analyze it, and do the alchemy. Say, oh, we want to repeat it because it's so freaking awesome. Do it again. Well, how do we do it? We'll measure it. Figure out what it is. We want that. That we want to put in our community and our society. We want to package that. And that's what those people do. Those people who puppeteer. And we're all playing our part. We're characters. They tell us what it is to be. We don't know what it is to be black or white, really. What the freak is that? Outside of what they told us it is. Because I remember when we were freer and less indoctrinated, before it really anchors in there, like when children play in the sandbox. That's not the energy that our Creator was given to us. But yes, okay, it's happened, it's there, that's the way it is. But we be forgetting, we act like there's no time that our Creator doesn't exist. If you're standing on the power of the Creator and you say you speak for the Creator, then why isn't your stuff clean and really hearing the voice of the all, the voice of the Creator? No, we're hearing one-dimensional voices. We're hearing segments. We're hearing gatekeepers. Not hearing the all. Now, this king, there's different. That king from that sector reminds me of, in our culture, right? A lot of energy that I'm trying to discharge lately. It's been real. And I wish I had someone to talk to about the physical stuff that I'm going through regarding this awakening process. It's electric. I sing the body electric. That's a side note. Riding the wave. Okay, back to serious a little bit. Okay, what I was trying to share is that some of us are connected to the planet and the oneness and the allness, and others are segmented and sick and compartmentalized. They're not plugged in the same way. They hunt. They play games. They have courts. They find what they hunt admirable. Back in the day, think of maritime, more time, mealtime. You are what you eat. And that's why I was saying, like a table for two. You know, this king and queen feel like they have us in checkmate. Mates. Our Kundalini energy, what we produce together, or the male and female energy on the planet, metaphorically, is what I'm speaking of, and literally giving examples of things that have happened to me personally. I hope you find admirable. My court is a court of people that consider all the stuff that we freaking need to live, not just survive, to be connected to our Creator, primarily, and to share that with one another. Outside of what's being done to us. Those who can actually see, that are not sucking up, brown nosing, trying to hold those gates and keep the system exactly where it is, that are willing to let in the flow of new energy, new dimensions of things. Now, there's nothing new under the sun, but there are combinations that are put here that are different. Okay, we could do plenty of different combinations. There's plenty of different ways to make cakes or different things. Okay, We are what we have opened ourselves up to. They have one indoctrination and we have another. Back in the day, thinking of this play, the time they like to keep it freeze frame, the opera, into a particular time, an ancient time, where they're pulling these strings, where they're depicting gods, as a reflection of what we used to be, of the things that I'm reading of the history that I'm going through during this awakening process, stuff that I've been through as a jack of all trades and a master of none, just touching on information, trying to figure out why this telephone line game is so messed up. So their king would go on a hunt, and he would kill his prey, right? He would kill his game on the hunt and bring it back to the court. And the king would show off his game to the court. He would show off his game. What are we in? A matrix. And these people are like gods, playing games of thrones, so to speak. That court would judge the king's deeds, and they're all the same, like vampires, right? We're game, like we got pets. It's dimensions. That's why be careful with the animals, okay? It's like a tear. What? That court would judge the king's game admirable, his prey admirable. And that's where I was thinking about the king who had no clothes when it comes to gatekeepers and keeping the new flow of the female energy, what we birth, what we want to share with our culture. That Kundalini energy that we're shaking around. We're shaking their stuff like pooping all over the place. What you got in there? What you got in there? What do you got in there? It's essence. If you got something good in there and you're doing that, shake it. Because that's how us women did that beehive thing. We shared our essence. We shared our essence with one another. We shared our essence. There's a difference between a queen, and a pawn. The essence is a spiral. Okay? Look deeper. It's not just watch the sleight of hand and we all got it. Don't judge a book by its cover. What is it to be black? What is black? Is it the essence of the things that we haven't seen, or the combinations of things that we can bring to one another? So we can say, what are those? Not because it's not expensive sneakers or whatever. It's not the style. Somebody else's program. Spinning some other ish that smells, putting more funky stuff into the matrix. But what are those? Like, wow, you did something new and interesting and you put that combo. What? I might want to figure out what I can do, or even do that. If I'm going to be a pawn, at least and mutually beneficial and not harmful, like me being this bunny. I hope I was connected to the internet the whole time. Okay, I'm going through the internet thing again. I hope that I'm not cut off too much. I lost so much yesterday. I went through this whole thing yesterday. But it's okay. Like one of those plays that we watch where they do that play, how many nights in Broadway or whatever? How many nights do they do a play in opera? Look at our arts and what we allowed ourselves to produce. What we allowed ourselves to be and try out and flex versus somebody else's interpretation of us and how we stayed within that realm. We sanctioned ourselves. Are you black enough? What does that mean? So you policing somebody's image? What is their inside doing? Now I know how the outside is connected to the inside in many cases. But then in saying that, you would have to say that you realize how our ancients used different things always to change the way they looked to express themselves. They weren't faceted, they were multifaceted. They weren't semi-faceted. There are certain kings and queens that believe they're there because of material things. But that's a lie, because they've been capitalizing on us sleeping. Capitalizing on the fact that as a pawn, you have to accept levels of indoctrination but we can also choose as a computer, as a thinking, learning being, pick and choose what it is that we would desire to become as our combo. As our combo, we have the right to choose what it is that we want for ourselves. So they're playing games of thrones, games of gods, and we're game, little birds. They're balling. They even got games like billiards and pool and basketball and football, where they use their analogies, everything embedded, like in your face. In your face. The pawn even looks like a penis, if you ask me. Kinda. Sorta. Prick head. Prick head. But it takes all types, and we learn from our mistakes. So holding all that corruption and smelly crap in place reminds me of why Buddha left the building. Like Elvis. Medieval meddling and melanated affairs. And the dark matter and the essence of us. And us on a different level of things that are more connected to. We're supposed to be less connected to the shiny-ish and more connected to the relevance of the essence of where that stuff comes from. That's a byproduct. Like cheese. Some places won't even allow you to make cheese because it's a toxin. It's all in the way that we look at things. But cheese is also delicious. I love cheese. Oh my gosh. It's hard not to eat cheese. It's hard not to eat junk food. I'm indoctrinated to it. It does what it do. It hits that peak performance in my taste buds and drives me nuts, even though I know it. I'm just like, I love it. I'm addicted to the chip. I'm addicted to the chip. Maybe then I should make my own chips then, right? Metaphorically. If I'm addicted to the chip and I need a taste of the chip, maybe I should make my own chip at least. If I'm going to be a chip. If I am what I eat. Maybe it's to come up with my own ish. That was a perfect metaphor. Just came. This Kundalini energy just came to me. So movies are instructional and give us cultural embedded messages. Like jazz and blues and soul and opera. The arts and sciences and music shows us and dictates to us levels of consciousness within our communities. Who we are, they say, is determined by the arts. If you want to know who people are, look at their arts. What are you slinging? What you working with? As a computer, as a holodeck, right? As a food transporter. Because they're feeding off of us. They're feeding off of us. They're feeding off of us in various different ways. There's a breakdown. There's a fractal of that. Whether the images give you dis-ease and you go to the doctor and they give you medicine, and paying for those medicines or learning what was in the medicines gives you dis-ease, then you got to get rid of that. Okay? And how do you do that? The only way to do that is to go to Mama, to the essence, to that which is complete, that includes Because of what's going on, mama don't gotta include papa, right? If we're gonna be angry at stuff, we can just keep separating ourselves further. The men from the women, and this further, we just keep it like this and keep separating. Don't look, listen to the lie. Don't look for the medicine. Don't look for the snake that eats itself. If the snake can eat itself, then that means their medicine is there. From this torus field, from this fractal, comes something clean, something perfect. Our star seeds, our rainbows, our indigos. What? Our will. Our talents and abilities. Our children are the future. We send them places to cultivate them in hopes that they bring us more of the same. More of the same. Many times. But what about something different? What about something different? Because those so-called gods looking down on us in a way where they feel like we're just pawns. They're always looking for something different, some new type of nasty thing to do. Like I said, how many of these kids can we get to eat these soap packs? How bored do you gotta be with that kind of maximum power where you would use this type of energy, this type of knowledge to be able to sway the collective energy in a way? They've been at it a long time. You really, really freaking bored. You really, really bored. Yeah, you gotta be. That's the only thing that you can come up with. Our little dirty ways to see how stupid that we can be. Because you can influence. You know you can influence the conscious grid, and we've been ignorant of that. Our pine cones, our pineal. Many of us don't know anything about human design, right? Telling us what it is to be black. Got us yelling at each other for wearing wigs and stuff. But yet, you can look at the glyphs on the walls where we kept our media, things that we did with one another, like our acupuncture and our dancing. Puncture and our dancing, I was cut off. We had our wigs. We had our makeup. We had a way. We had our incense. We had our value. We had the way that we shared culture with one another, our essence. That's what we're doing, is sharing what we are inside with one another. That's what we have in our communities, our talents, our abilities, our arts. We're cooking. This is a melting pot. America doesn't just run on what? America doesn't just run on Dunkin' Donuts, drinking black coffee, looking at dormant tourist fields, holes, donuts, looking at more jokes the gods play on us, of things in our face, of the fractals of what is real and what is actually what is already there. There's nothing under the sun. It's just conceptualizing it. And we're so busy being, what? So busy being what? The woman, the womb space is what projects the things into the culture. But if they can keep us fighting, if the male is in a position of female submission due to lack of economy, lack of ability to be able to comprehend his woman, the booty, the sacred energy, the essence, that's where you're going to get it from, right? You really don't have to be broke. She can heal things. You don't have to be broken. If we heal the source, the seed, where it comes from, what? Heal ourselves, womb spaces, heal themselves. It's where everything comes from. When we value ourselves And don't listen to how the men, the lower end, those who can't conceptualize the deeper, I want to say intrinsic meaning and value of us as womb spaces, to be able to pull from the essence of beyond, outside of the realms of just the mundane poke in the back seat, or wifey at home that gives it up. We were cut off again. Or some chick you met at a bar or online. There's so much more, many facets to us. And so a queen is inexpendable. She's bringing it. She's bringing it. She's bringing it hot. And it's respectable. There's a spiral and a depth to it. She has Kundalini energy. She's bringing the fire and the heat. She's very aware that she's mother and lover and baby girl. That's your queen. Let her be. That let her spiral out. It's for the man that we were supposed to be able to teach these sacred energies, the men, to teach each other to be able to harness and hold his sacred woman. That's so powerful that she builds worlds. So powerful that man they call the 1% is doing all kinds of backflips to control the psyche, the creative energy, the womb space energy, and the men that protect it, that cultivate it, that project what it is that she makes into society. She is the house and he makes the building. She's the home and he makes the building. She's the womb space. You bring her with you. What? That girl you saw dancing, that intelligent thing your grandma said, that tasty meal, the kiss that still stayed on your lips, because she was that special. She wasn't no hoe, or if she was a hoe, she was creating things that you could eat, that you valued. She was the priestess kind of hoe. She dug in deep and she pulled out. Dr. Sabi wouldn't approve of these. Imagine there's something else on his list. Imagine you're not on that list and that's cool too. Imagine this is what you have to eat, but it's still organic rather than a bag of chips, because you're oral and you're working on that, right? So you're not perfect. You work for betterment. Knowing that I don't have to be perfect and that there's brothers and sisters out there that allow me to be helps me to relax in this creative energy. What? So you don't do this alone. We build this together. We need each other, real talk. If you don't listen to me, you don't find what I say valuable, it don't float. We can't fly. It's necessary for us to raise our consciousness. We have an ocean of thought, of possibilities, which brings me to maritime law. How they profit on our straw man, like vampires, like shellfish. We're in a sea of life. Be admirable. That our court, that us, that we find what we do admirable. We're not suck-ups or brown noses. And when we judge the king's deeds and the queen's deeds, we do it with a different level of intellect. Just because we get aroused doesn't mean that we have to act stupid, because we know that's a part of who we are. What? To be able to take that energy as an adult being, not as a child, as a kid, as somebody's animal, somebody's goat. If I'm the black sheep, it's the other side of that, and that's the dimension that knows I'm more than that. What? And that energy is supposed to be used to cultivate it in a proper manner, not keep my eyes closed while I'm watching you corrupt this energy and molest little boys and girls and harm women and separate families and even use your own people to the point where they're just stupid. Stupid because that's the way that we've indoctrinated ourselves to. We've been indoctrinated by the media, by this opera, by this play of life, to believe that one people is ignorant and stupid, and another is grandiose, wonderful, even to the point where we see them as God. So that image was important because it does play a part on our psyche. See yourself. This is Regina's rabbit hole. All is self. It all starts with a thought. We share our thoughts with each other, and we do change the consciousness grid. How is it that we have slang? How is it that hip-hop is important? Hip-hop. Why? You can hear a song and it stay in your mind and travel across the globe. It's a hit. Bam. Like Tommy knockers. Sparked off. You made it. Conception. You rich. Well, boy, you a star. You a star. Using that creative energy, that spark, right? So I was looking at the level of intellect that's embedded in one culture that was cultivated to the point where they kept that metaphor and that fractal right there for us to see in our face. Rubbing it in your face. You can't see, they ain't got nothing to be afraid of. You can't see nothing. You can't even see me. You can't even see me. Na 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 na. What do you mean? Don't bring that up. So we're in a position of female submission, like a domestic violence thing. And there's a fractal going on. You don't care about the animals, they don't care about you. They see you as an animal. You don't care about her, see? You are not allowed to have access to what you're not willing to give. They can't heal because they like killing. We can't see because we like being blind and giving our authority and our beauty of ourselves over to another. We don't want to believe how vast and beautiful and wonderful we are. They don't want to believe how messed up and cruel and nasty and decrepit they can be. And there's a happy medium here. It's beautiful. The snake that eats itself. A place to prove yourself. The time is now. Be about it. Can you see? Some of us are not doing things in the community because there's been tampering. Or because of our personality style. It does not mean that we don't have that connection and we ain't fire. And that we're not able to contribute. It's all a matter in the way that we do things and conceptualize and connect with one another. And how we respect one another. It's the access point. Be the hope you want to see. You can't have it if you're not willing to be it. You cannot have it if you're not willing to be it. Be the hope you want to see. I empathize with you. I have access to how you're feeling. I'm merging with you on some way that's mutually beneficial, like a raising up, not conceptualizing with you to get off, because it gives me pleasure, makes me feel comfortable, and gets me off when I see you suffer. Gives me a hard on to see you suffer, to see you in your place, boy. So anybody without the proper economy is in a position of female submission. And just like a person who's in the position of gatekeeper, who has sacrificed and done things to be in that position, is grouchy and set in a way in their framework in their mind that if I had to do X, Y, and Z to get up in this piece, you better be doggone sure you're gonna do X, Y, and Z and a couple other things to get up in this piece, because you're gonna respect me and the fact that I got up in this piece. And that's all that they have, because they want to pay the position of king who brought their game, their prey, to the court. That's their fine. They got crumbs. this tear is large. I'm watching how dusty y'all are, and y'all ain't getting nothing compared to what the 1% has been getting for you to keep those gates and hold that position. Oh, it's so sad what you could have had if you had cultivated this end instead of that end. But you see now. You see now. It ain't even about that. What? Are you sick? Are you lonely? Are you confused? Can you hear the voice of the Creator? Oh yeah. I was saying how medicine, right? Yesterday. Those medicine commercials. How many people can they get to take the medicine? How many people do you think that we can get to take this medicine? Those decrepit gods say. I don't know. Let's see. Well, you know we have to give them a little bit of disclosure because it's part of the game. All right, well, put the commercial on there and tell them that they can be stroke, diarrhea, cramping, and some other stuff. They can even die. Yeah, that's the stroke part. Just tell them that in order to get rid of their indigestion, that they'll be subject to all this other stuff. That's some funny shit. That's some funny-ish. I know. Do it. All right. How much is our company going to make off this joke? I don't got time to look right now. I'm on some other stuff, but I'll look later. I think it's in the corner of maybe 100 billion at least. I would check those stats later. Got this other game going on. Going to play golf. Check you later. Billiards? Maybe next week. Put it on the schedule. Going to get that blood transfusion? Sure, right after I get that liver that I had that cop get after he shot that kid. And, yeah, special order. Yeah, we got it so freaking good. Got it so freaking good. Got that blood transfusion. Feeling pretty youthful. Don't have to connect with Earth. Don't have to get it in there. And y'all gatekeepers, you better hope they make that cancer treatment or that medication to heal your butts, because they're in charge. Large and in charge. Dealing with shadows and lights. We have to clear our aura of these thoughts. They're sick. It's not their fault. Shoot, I go to meetings and you hear things. And to using fractals, right? To heal myself. I can't see you if I can't see me. If I am too afraid to look at my own crap, I'm not going to see yours. But I only want to look, but so far. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get wrapped up into crap too much. Because of the conformity that can happen, because of the law of attraction, because of the entanglement. A woman is like a hive, like a bee, depending on God's composition of art that he gave to her. Just like flowers, there's daisies and there's roses and there's extravagant orchards and there's lilies. All of them are Creator's combination of what you desire. Your womb space, a place to embed, a place to receive, a place to cook up some stuff. Just like our world, we are what we eat. They got a table going on, a table for four. They got a game going on at a table where they're gorging and eating off the suffering and the stupidity of man, the stupidity, the ignorance of us. And that's why they call us nigger. And that's why it doesn't matter at this point who. Identify yourself as breathing this air, drinking this water, eating the food, subject to GMOs, chemicals, educational indoctrination. Who got stuck behind the lines because they couldn't see, because they made a choice, because they co-signed, because that's just the way it is. We'll wake up. It's a time to wake up. It's a beautiful time. We can wake up now. We cannot sustain the life force without the original source of energy, of conception, like a tree or a root, and that's why they can't even make medicine without getting it from the original source. They're playing games. It's a Game of Thrones. It's vast. It's an internet. It's a web. Don't play your games here, though. We're trying to create something. Now, if you want to play games, you're going to get stuck in that. In the dimension of whatever it is that you can see. That's where you will get stuck. And basically, those are the rules that the Creator, like you, are what you eat. You are. Clean it out. Be willing to let go. And that's where I'm at each day. Willing to let go more and more of our indoctrination and put myself out there. I'm not your interpretation of me. I'm who I choose to be. I'm what the Creator, the composition that He put together for us. And we can pull from that. I can pull from your essence and your composition or not. And share in that. I don't know if you heard me, because, yeah, our thoughts are like programs. They're games. We're vast. We're like the internet, okay? We're cooking up some stuff. You know, America is a melting pot. But yet, there's a sleight of hand. There's somebody keeping us from knowing each other. How you don't know what's in the soup? Did you ever ask your mom or your grandma, that soup is so freaking good? Everybody wants to come here. What's in the soup? It's not all bad, but it's what we make of it and what we do, how we're stirring it. So wake up. It's a time of waking up. We can wake up. I've seen some beautiful things, many different cultures, and facets of who we are being shared with one another. The time is now. The queen has value. The value of a queen is hidden. It's the essence is deep in the earth and the heart. Like that movie I saw, I think it was Seven Brothers, and I think it reminded me of the Vatican. There was these men who went after this woman who was a witch, and she was buried deep in the earth, and these men, they had the root. You got to see that movie. I think that I said the right movie. A woman is the heart, and she is like a bee, because we are truly able, I got cut off again, I hope you heard me, literally able to connect with the consciousness grid, okay? And just like we can order our food like a computer or a holodeck or a transporter, but it's under a different dimension of thinking, literally in the same way that these people portray themselves as gods and set things up to pull from us our creative energy, our arts, our essence, our tides, our talents, and our abilities. That our 10%, what are we putting back in? It ain't money. That's nothing. Especially when it's floating away from your community and the people that it can reach. Where are our programs where we create and cultivate ourselves? Why we keep putting it in there? Gotta keep finding ways to clean ourselves, where when we do things like this, the orchestrator is not corrupt and spending the money on things that are not necessary, that have nothing to do with people, just to fix things in a way where we won't miss. Which is just a part of the way that we do things, part of our essence and our way of life. Just like that way of people capitalizing off of it, the way we live now is a way that something is capitalizing off of us. It's our opportunity, our duty to be able to see this and changing around. It all starts with a thought. What are we taking in? What are we cultivating? Is it necessary to hold on to that thought that she's a decrepit whatever and not empathize with whatever it is that she went through? or for you not to see what he went through? That men, that, I mean, it's on. All bets are off. It doesn't matter really. Hands off. I don't know what part you lost or you heard at this point. All bets are off. It's in the culture. It's what we allow. The importance of a mother, of a sister, of a lover, of a daughter who's going to grow up and she's a sprout. She's a sprout for your brother. So if you love your brother, you'll make sure that he has a good sister. If you love your sister, you'll make sure that she shines. Shine, shine. I love to see my sisters and my brothers shine. In the same way that polygamists say that I want my sister to have what I have. If I have a good life and my husband can keep it together and he's good at economy and business and helping us sustain this, that we want to treat him like a king and make sure that he has this type of atmosphere at home. I want to invite you in to do that, because I realize kind of what I'm saying now about cultivating community and things like that, and women to be able to bring value to their cultures, and how we have the right to be able to design that and to determine what that looks like for our own profit, currency, and abilities. Even if it was bartering, that's a different way of looking at currency. Bartering skills with one another, like knowledge or, just abilities, talents. Our talents. Valuing our talents. What? That's a start. And we're doing it. You watching me this long share with you my essence. And then being able to do your little ditty. This is my music. What? It's what's inside of me. It's who I am. That's all I can do is share to what I am. That's just me. This is me. I want to be accepted. And I want to accept you. I want to do that thing. That's why we're online, trying to connect. Don't fool yourself. Don't listen to the hype. Don't believe the hype that they feed us. We want to be together. We're seeds. Okay? This is Regina's Rabbit Hole. We got a whole new story. Looking forward to the queens and the kings to do whatever, whenever, wherever. On making a whole new story. Creating a whole new value for ourselves. Cooking up something different, something real. We are an ocean of thought. Move the waters. We are over 70% water. Water holds information. Our goal is to become God-like, knowing that we're serving the Creator. Duh! Duh! And we are His people, subject to the rules that we place for each other. You are what you eat. If I don't give a blip about you, then I don't give a blip about you. And I am in the eye and the grips of the beholder. And the same way I'm looking at the zodiac and we act like animals, that lower self, my higher self, has trump over. I am in the eye of the beholder. I see your animal, lower nature. I got trump over that because, do I? Do I though? Really? If I am feeding off of that, then I don't. Then I am a vampire and I'm enjoying that. I need that. So, as we rise up and realize what we've been, as they descend and realize what they are, as we figure out what we want to be, that's what it is. That's where we are. That's what's going on. We are the snake that eats itself. And it's time to party. The table is set. The stage is set. There's a table. There's a game going on. There's a game. Will we let the bird fly and live? and breathe and dream and grow like we want to? Or are we just hungry? We don't give up. And even though there's other things that we can eat, we're going to serve that up because that's our norm. We do what we do. We're indoctrinated to a certain mindset, a certain pattern. Get yours. Get yours. Get yours. According to who? Like a musical instrument. All this is a part of what we eat. Sound, light. There's butterflies all around me that I've been looking at this entire time. And sometimes I feel so far away from the normal way that we think. Just allowing myself to be myself for our Creator, it's my duty. Not just my duty, but like going against it really makes me sick. It causes dis-ease, dysfunction in me. Being me may seem like an off key or a chord to someone else looking. But to me, it's like how when my grandma used to give me medicine, like castor oil, and I didn't like it, and it was a discord. But it helped me. It helped my body to feel better. And she had knowledge that I was not privy to. My lower nature was like, yo, I'm eating the candy, you know, I'm eating this stuff, and I don't care about none of that. I just want to have fun. Kid, that tastes nasty, I want nothing to do with it. It was a little sprout. But grandma had experiences and knows better, and knows what her body is doing. I would have hoped for better, says, nah. Give them kids that medicine now, and hope it's for a better tomorrow. So they ain't ailing the way that I do. Took the time to deal with my grumpy face. My attitude. Me running away from the medicine, not knowing what the medicine is. Just take it. Shut up. Close your nose. Just do it. So we trust our mother, our womb space. It's been a while since I was little and I saw grandma, and I know now. Do you know now? What medicine is good for you and what isn't? Can you see a little better? Would you like to explore? Would you like to know more? Would you like to know more about this parasitic situation? This will be used to suck out poison. But you don't know that until you know. A queen is irreplaceable. A queen could be a slug to suck out poison, or a slug just sucking out energy. It's a anywho. I think I've made the point. I feel better. I did make that point. The butterflies have told me that I've made the point. They've circled me several times. They've stopped circling. This birdie has flown. This is Regina's rabbit hole. And I just wanted to make this stuff clear. Check out those plays. Look at those plays. Look at the symbolism. We want a tree of life. We want to share life with one another. Things that are a beautiful taste in our mouth, a sweet smelling aroma. What? To ourselves, as we are creators, as we create for the Creator, as we realize that we are different aspects of the Creator. I'm looking at a monarch's butterfly right now too. Different aspects of ourselves. Just energy. Here to share, here to party, here to love one another and share and grow, change our essence. And it's beautiful. I didn't say be stupid, but making the place for us to be vulnerable and beautiful and grow and learn. Like the vulnerability that we gave to Grandma, that responsibility, she was us. We knew that she was us. Y'all ain't being us. You don't recognize us. That's why the birds run away. Y'all ain't us. Y'all ain't us. That's why the animals run away. Or not. Are you us? Are you growing and learning and changing just to be a little bit better? To grow toward the us. The us that was really meant to be us. The all is self us. The magnificent us. The us that is able to be us without us. Like, for instance, I found myself, this is what I found weird, right? I want to be black. I want to be accepted by the super blacks because they like real cool. Black power, Afro, the Shiki. I like those people. I recognize that what they're doing within our community and our society is really important. So I want to make a little bit of connections there. I feel I'm black. I'm black too. So how can I get in with the blackness? Is that the only look of blackness? Oh, okay, we got the blackness over there with the booty out and the bustier and the spear and they're doing the African pictures and stuff. They say that they do black is packaged like that. Do I want that black or this black? Do I want the black like Bill Cosby black? What black? All right, I'm on the tricorder here. I'm on the holodeck. What black do I want to portray so that I can get more black? I want to be more black. What black do I pick? When black is real, if black is all things, yo, you've been duped. You've been had. They penetrate illumination, right? Penetrate what is already there in the dark. You're coming from the dark and feeding this womb space with your light. How yummy is that? Just looking at energy. All is energy. All. That's all we are. On different levels. And just because we doesn't know it doesn't mean it's not so. Just because the sun is not shining where you are doesn't mean it's not shining in another part of the world. Or even another part of the city. If it's cloudy right here, they can see that sun over there, but I can't really see it too much here because it's cloudy. It can be cloudy. We cannot see things. We can literally have things like stage lights and curtains and strings and crap and characters and metaphors and whole indoctrinations blocking our view of self as a means of their social practice. You are what you eat. Some of us are vampiric. It's just so. Say it isn't so. Say it isn't so. Regina's rabbit hole. Yeah, baby. It's so. It's okay though. It's okay. We know this. We're gonna be alright. You know why? Because this is Regina's rabbit hole. This is Siren Buddha medicine. And we are the snake that eats itself. So we can't BS. Like we remove that stuff and make fertilizer out of it. What? We turn stuff. We're a Taurus field. We're a Tasmanian devil. Or not. But we're gonna move some stuff like the storm. We have our ancient rights and abilities that are determined by our level of access, ability to see and share. Be a shareable wave. Be plunkable. I don't know if Dan Winters would like me doing that to his little phrase, but yeah. And like Phil Valentine. Be the tetragrammaton. You know? Find a space and create some stuff with your female energy. Hold the light up. Share some stuff. Keep doing what you're doing. I grow every day looking at how you grow. Much love to you and yours. This is Regina's rabbit hole, and I hope that because every time I end, I'm like, oh gosh, I was supposed to have added that. I hope they found me admirable. You know, I carry my balls, and somebody was like, you remind me of Admiral Kane. That was a movie, Admiral Kane. Okay. Yeah, I think I pretty much did it. She done did it. She done did it. You're gonna poke your eye out with that. You're gonna poke your eye out with that. With that information. With that all starts with a thought. Or I'm out. Well, I was supposed to be out. I hope I made this clear. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I made it clear that what I was trying to say is that as a culture, we have a responsibility to bring this balance, because part of the culture has been indoctrinated into stupidity to be able to feel like they're smart, or smarter than they actually are, or more of them are smarter than they actually are, and that ain't so. And they've been indoctrinated to make movies and stuff about us, to make us believe that we're stupid and we don't have a responsibility to be smart. That smart people are trying to be white. How can you be white when you're melanated? It's impossible. So I hope I made my point clear, that we have a lot of work to do to bring actual reality into consideration. This is Regina's Rabbit Hole. Much love to you and yours. The choice is yours. Stay black. Stay beautiful. Stay righteous. Stay lovely. Stay true. Stay love. All is self. This is all us. Different fractions of us. Own it. Own your greatness. Be accountable. Take some stuff. Because that's where the power is. Yeah, you great. You great. You great. Stop paying attention to how they tell us we're not great.